Big Willie here. I need to say Big Willie, right? Because as you say, I've got two channels going. One is DC Vigilante, and this one. So when I upload it from my phone, I can quickly see from the start which channel I'm putting it on. So it's not like, well, Big Willie, So so I want to talk about this environmental stuff, right? And yeah, I mean, we've definitely. If you ask me if I believe if we screwed up the chat, if we screwed up the world, they went, yeah, of course, because Scotland's weather these days seems to be all over the place. I mean, not like it isn't every year, but when you start having the summer in August and September and stuff, instead of like the 3-day summer holiday we normally have, then you know the world's screwed up. Scotland should only be entitled to a couple of days a year in there. I'm not a sun worshipper. I hate the sun. I used to go on holiday down to Margate when I was a kid, and it was brilliant weather there all the time. But I would always hide under the pier and stuff. So I was never one to sit out in the sun and bake or anything like that. So hats off to those people that live in hot countries that still need to, work with all your clothes on and all that sort of stuff. And then so we've got all this stuff with cars, and every car needs to be electric. And here's me, I'm sitting in this duster that consumes my petrol like nobody's business. It's got wee eco buttons here and there, and turns off the engine when you've stopped and all that jargon, right, which I'm not used to. But the fact that it's big, I quite like. I'm high up. I feel a wee bit more manly than I did in my last car, a wee tiny small thing. But then again, if you think about it, it's like I must be Big Willie because I have a small car. I'm not trying to make up for anything, So So, I mean, America right now, they've kind of like shied away from thinging their cars. They're always big over there with the big cars and everything else. And all the other countries, the small countries like the UK and stuff, we're all trying to change the world. And there's protests everywhere about Greenpeace and, and save them. It's the new religion of today, And there's always these talks about, comets just coming down. I saw in the paper, and we're lucky we're still here, said an astronaut. And with the North Pole sinking, and places that are going to get swamped underwater is England. And it's true, it's happening just now. We keep on having floods down in England, and yeah, it is a scary time. My house is on a hill, so I'll be the last to go, really, but it is quite near the river. And it is, but right now, what's funny is you expect your governments to look after you, to be in the know of what's actually happening in the world, right? And conspiracy theories aside from aliens and all that stuff, but you expect them to deal with the problem that they have. They have the information that they don't share with the public in order to keep the peace, right? And we've seen all that stuff in drive-by movies, and and we see films, the disaster films like the Aztec proclaimed the world would end in 2012 or something, but really, they could have had a few years mixed up, and this seems to be it. This seems to be. And what's happening instead? Well, we've got one party that because of the voting system, cannot break away from this so-called Euro, right, Brexit thing. So because one party can't decide to deal with it, they're now having another voting system so they can come in. But all the other parties, they're all talking about something else. They're all talking either about free broadband. We'll promise to get free broadband everywhere in the household. One other party is saying we will do something with the NHS or something like that, and another party's on trivia things, right? Just trivia things, free TV licenses for the old and all that sort of stuff. And I was thinking, well, if we're right, then shouldn't be. And then we look at the government for like plastic cups for water, and it's up to them to really recycle. Somebody says, "Oh, recycling is a waste because they all put it into one landfill." And I like to believe they don't. I like to believe that somewhere along the lines we have the authority to change the government's plans. You know, the government is on top of this, right? They're not all bickering in a room someplace, right? So if it was really a serious matter, our governments should be doing something right now. But then again, you know, surely when we have cars or big or whatnot or small, I mean, I look back in time when we had the factories, when they were blowing out the black smoke and you had the fog or people, you know, the fumes that were coming out of factories and everything else. But we've cleaned that up. So surely the amount of pollution and whatnot that comes in the back of cars nowadays shouldn't really amount to a hill of beans when it comes to the environment. You know, if so, there should be like big scares, big warning signs or whatnot, and telling us what to do and we're at risk. I mean, that's like if, you know, the zombie plague came out, they would be too busy bickering on how to maintain an island or something like that, but it wouldn't be, you know, I think the news would come out pretty slow for that because the government wouldn't know how to handle the situation or get the public informed with it. You know, so we'll probably die before the government steps in and does something to inform the people about the truth. You know, I mean, we've had scientists and doctors, and what they're saying is pretty mixed up as well. Some people saying, "Oh no, this is a natural occurrence. This happened millennium ago. It'll build up again," and yada yada. And then you got the other scientists saying it's different. It's just hard to believe. But the only thing we can do is do our bit and recycle and believe that we're doing something. You know, or maybe that's just pretense. Maybe it's just a way to govern us. You know, and doing something, get our minds off what's actually happening in the world. You know, what's the actual truth out there? What are they trying to persuade us from? You know, are they trying to keep us in the house with digital games and TV and keep us away from the truth? I'll save that for another video. But let me know your thoughts and feelings about the environment and if our governments are doing enough for it. What should we be doing? What should the governments be doing? What can we do? Is this true? Is the earth coming down to its last days? Let's know your thoughts and feelings. Me personally, I like to think about, are we just a wee man? Should we not just trundle through life, get on with each day as it comes, and if the world ends, then at least we'll go out with a smile on our face, driving our big cars. Is that it? Is it the old cigarette routine? Right? Well, at least, you know, smoking kills, but it makes me happy every day. Is that the way we should go out? Let us know your thoughts and feelings anyway. This is Big Willie.